Las preposiciones en idiomas son estas palabritas aquí que probablemente hayas visto 1.000.000 de veces y son súper importantes porque se usan para conectar una palabra con otra. El problema es que las escuelas y las academias te las están enseñando como si todavía estuviéramos en los 1950s. Entonces, en este video te voy a enseñar cómo aprender estas preposiciones de una manera muchísimo más sencilla para que puedas ahorrar mucho tiempo y esfuerzo y seguir adelante con tu inglés. Empecemos. I remember a few years back when I was taking Spanish classes in Mexico. Por cierto, voy a contar esta historia personal en inglés, entonces activa subtítulos aquí y desafíate un poco. So I remember a few years back, I was taking Spanish classes in Mexico, and I had a Spanish teacher, and she was absolutely amazing. She was so kind, so nice, so sweet, very warm-hearted. She was like 150 centimeters tall. It was fantastic. I used to call her Chaparrita. Yeah, I don't know why. I tried to have fun with the language, you know, playing with the words. And I had a Mexican friend. He's like, you gotta call her Chaparrita. She's gonna like that. What was funny is that this lady had probably been teaching for, I don't know, 15, 20 years at this university or in her career before. And this was at Tec de Monterrey, which is one of the best universities in Mexico. And at this time, I had obviously no idea about how the science of language learning works, so I didn't pay any special attention to the way she was teaching us. To be honest, I was mostly focused on, you know, going out to partying, drinking tequila and salsa dancing more than I was teaching methods at that time. One day, she started teaching us about Spanish prepositions. What she did was she brought out this table, this tabla, of a bunch of prepositions in the Spanish language. You've probably seen very similar ones in English. And so what happened was that I studied these rules for the prepositions, the grammatical use. I saw some examples as well, but I couldn't learn them. There were too many use cases and too generic sort of information. Like the word por se usa para realizar algo, como el sujeto de oraciones pasivas, como distribución, reparto o como una causa. That's very generic, right? People were saying to me all the time, vamos por tacos. ¿Para dónde los tacos? A los tacos de la esquina. Too many things, like so confusing. Then I had to go on and learn more prepositions, like 20 more prepositions in this same way, studying the rules. It just became a big mess, very complicated. It was very frustrating because I couldn't speak. I could barely understand when people were saying. I tried to analyze all these different prepositions when listening, and it just got really awkward and frustrating. So this is an experience that I have myself from learning your language that I don't think you should have when learning English. I felt like a failure. I was walking around. I had taken this Spanish class and I could hear people on this, like kids running around the streets, like using por, para, all these different prepositions with ease. And there was I, and you know, I felt bad because I considered myself kind of smart. So I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. And it just got really, really frustrated. So it's very important that you know, guys, that I did not learn the Spanish prepositions in this way. I never did. I never studied these grammar structures again. I actually quit my Spanish classes later, and I went out and I learned them the correct way. Because you see, later, when I started digging into this world of the science of language learning, I came across some pretty interesting research. What I found was that although these grammatical concepts and structures are correct, they are meaningless to us. They contain no meaning, so we don't remember them as easily. As human beings, we need meaningful and comprehensible language to memorize and create better understanding. So what this means is that when learning English, you should not expect to learn the ins and outs of the language by studying the rules of these prepositions, for example. I've said it a million times and I will keep saying it in this language, in Spanish. Jag kommer säga det på svenska om jag måste. Necesitan consumir más del idioma en contexto. Así se aprende esas preposiciones. En contexto, escuchando inglés real. The reason why I'm now able to use both of these prepositions, por y para, in Spanish isn't because I've studied the rules. It's because I've heard and listened to these prepositions in context a million times now. So that, you know, I don't make a mistake because it sounds weird to say, vamos para tacos. Es como que suena mal, ¿verdad? It sounds bad. You know, this is the harsh truth. We need to start consuming more English on a regular basis, listening, consuming, reading if you already have sort of like a decent pronunciation. Spend some time consuming more of the language. This is the long-term solution. However, I know that a lot of you guys listening to this right now, you have one big problem, and that is that you're impatient. You're impatient, so you want to learn these prepositions real quick. What's the difference between for, in, at, on? And so, since you want to learn it so fast, you start studying the rules because there's the answer. But it's not the real answer, guys. Stop studying the rules and start consuming more of the language. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't want you to make that mistake. And I know that if I don't give you something, you're gonna go out and make the mistake. So we're gonna do a small exercise in this video that you're gonna love, and it's gonna help you learn these prepositions in more of the real way. It's a short-term solution. It's not the long-term, but it's still a good one. Let me ask you a weird question. Have you ever been to the bathroom and all of a sudden run out of toilet paper? And you'd have to scream or to whisper like, hey, is there anyone here? Mom, can you bring me some toilet paper, please? Pretty awkward, right? Feeling awkward is an emotion, a very, very strong emotion. And I recommend that you use that emotion. So let's look at this phrase, for example. I'm out of toilet paper. I'm out of toilet paper. Estoy sin papel higiénico. Now, this phrase contains the preposition of. I'm out of toilet paper. Estoy sin papel higiénico. Entonces, ahora déjame usar algunos ejemplos más genéricos que probablemente vas a ver en los libros de texto. I'm tired of studying. Take care of yourself. We're out of milk. ¿Cómo te sientes con ellas? No tanta emoción, ¿verdad? Pero de todas formas pienso que si escuchaste primeramente esa frase rara del papel higiénico, que probablemente vas a sentirte un poco mejor acerca de estas otras frases que contienen la misma preposición, ¿no? Exactamente. Así es como funciona. Inglés en contexto, preferiblemente con mucha emoción y que sea un contexto personal que tú has vivido en tu vida anteriormente. Así vas a memorizar muchísimo más rápido y ese uso de las preposiciones va a salir naturalmente para ti. Entonces vamos a hacer este ejercicio ahora mismo para ayudarte con esto. Estas son las 5 preposiciones más comunes en el idioma inglés. Quiero que crees 3 oraciones personales y raras para cada una de esas preposiciones aquí en los comentarios abajo. Y cuando digo raras, es muy raras. Si alguna vez te has quedado sin papel higiénico y has sentido esa profunda incomodidad de estar ahí como adulto tal vez, I'm out of toilet paper, help, please, úsalo. Úsalo porque cuando luego lo vuelves a estudiar alguna vez o vuelves a ver algo que contenga la misma estructura gramatical, vas a pensar en ese momento que estabas pensando en esas oraciones raras y estúpidas. ¿Ok? Es muy, muy eficiente. Cuanto menos genérico y aburrido hagas tus estudios y más absurdos, raros y llenos de emoción, más aprenderás. Así funciona la memoria del humano. Esta es la misma razón por la que es muy fácil aprender a decir malas palabras en un nuevo idioma, ¿verdad? Probablemente puedes pensar en muchas palabras feas en inglés, ¿no? Entonces, usa este conocimiento a tu beneficio cuando aprendes preposiciones, por ejemplo. Toma estas 5 preposiciones más comunes en el inglés y crea 3 oraciones acerca de cada uno, que cada oración contenga algo personal y algo muy extraño que has vivido. Por ejemplo, este ejemplo que estaba usando aquí. Y escríbemelos en los comentarios aquí abajo y me voy a asegurar de fijar el mejor comentario para que todos lo puedan ver. Si no puedes pensar en buenos ejemplos, utiliza una página como yourdictionary.com. Ahí puedes buscar por sentences y poner como la preposición que quieres buscar. Of, for, in, at. Y va a aparecer muchas oraciones de ejemplo. Luego, si quieres ser un estudiante realmente buenísimo, tú sabes lo que vas a hacer. Vas a tomar esas oraciones y vas a crear un mazo en un sistema de repetición espaciada como Anki, por ejemplo, para que puedas utilizar el poder de repetición espaciada para repetirlo y aprender profundamente en tu memoria. Spaced Repetition se llama, búscalo en YouTube si aún no conoces ese concepto. Pero por ahora, haz este ejercicio y déjame tus comentarios raros aquí abajo y estoy muy emocionado de verlos. Espero que hayas gustado este video. Ahora, si te gustó el video, dale thumbs up, suscríbete al canal y ahora haz clic aquí para ver otro de mis videos y nos vemos ahí en ese video. Mi nombre es Kalle Anders, yo soy tu coach de inglés y tu sueco favorito. Chao.